The rent from the airport shuddered into a Estacio de Santos just after dusk, the concourse full of suitcase wheels and tired voices. Hannah led the way, Ben checked directions on his phone, and Lucy kept a hand on her small black backpack while Ryan hunted for the ticket machines. They were a long weekend away from deadlines and breakups, for friends who had stayed close since university. The plan was simple: cheap Airbnb in El Roval, toppers until late, beach tomorrow. At the side of the hall, Lucy set her bag down to help a woman whose suitcase had toppled. The woman thanked her, quick and flustered. A surge of people came off a train, pressing them forward. "Taxi or metro?" Ben asked. "Metro. L3 to Liceu," Ryan said, already moving. They funneled downstairs and changed to the Green Line. Outside at Liceu, the Gothic quarters lanes were dusk blue and narrow, the air salted by frying anchovies. The Airbnb was a fifth-floor walk-up with a metal gate that clanged. Their host, a man named Victor in a nylon jacket, handed over the keys. "Careful on the street. Pickpockets," he said, not smiling. They threw open the balcony doors and let noise spill in from La Rambla. By 9 they were out again, moving past neon fruit at La Boqueria and alleyways smeared with old graffiti. A man tapped Ben's shoulder and tried to sell club wristbands. Another offered glowing bracelets. It felt performative, a city doing what a city does for tourists. They ended up at a little bar where the anchovies were sour and perfect. Halfway through the second vermouth, Lucy's iPhone buzzed. A notification slid onto the screen. "AirTag found moving with you." "What's that?" Hannah asked. "Probably someone's key finder nearby," Ben said. "We're jammed in." Lucy tried the play sound option. Nothing. The alert kept pulsing. She patted her pockets, then her backpack, then laughed at herself. "It'll vanish when we walk." They left the bar late. The alleys had quieted, the shops shuttered. A motorbike cut through and disappeared. At the mouth of their street, a man in a baseball cap leaned against a shutter, phone to his ear. He didn't glance at them, but Lucy felt his attention like a hand. On the stairs, the alert pinged again. "AirTag found moving with you." Lucy set her backpack on the kitchen table and emptied it. Wallet, sunscreen, paperback, charger. Nothing. She checked the lining. Nothing. "Tomorrow we'll buy a cheap detector," Ryan said. Tourist trap solved. They locked the door and tried to pretend they were fine. Hannah showered. Ben called his sister. Ryan sprawled on the sofa, scrolling maps. Lucy, still unsettled, checked her bag one more time. This time she noticed the front pocket zipper was a different style than she remembered, squared off instead of rounded. The tag in the lining didn't say her name. It said K. Mercer. Ben looked up. "What do you mean not yours?" "The zipper is wrong. And there's a name. K. Mercer." Ryan came over, flipping the tag between his fingers. "Maybe it's some factory label." Lucy shook her head. "My dad bought mine in Brighton. There's a coffee stain on the bottom." She turned the bag. The fabric was clean. "At Santos I put it down to help that woman with her suitcase. I picked up the wrong one." Silence knotted the room. Street noise floated up, a chorus that suddenly sounded a long way off. Hannah found a folded receipt deep in the main pocket. Ian Kant's flea market, 2 hours earlier, paid cash. A Barcelona map annotated with tiny circles. A hotel keycard that didn't match their building. None of it belonged to them. "We should take it to the police," Hannah said. "It's what, a mix-up?" "Do it in the morning," Ryan said. "At this hour we'll just get told to come back." He tried to joke. Barcelona's famous Lost and Found will reunite Kay, Mercer with their sunscreen. No one laughed. Lucy stood by the balcony, phone in her hand. The AirTag alert blinked patiently. Last seen, near you. She hit play sound again. Somewhere, faint and insect-like, something chirped once and fell silent, as if it had heard them listening. They didn't sleep much. Every noise in the stairwell could have been somebody stopping. At 3, Lucy woke to the bright, needy ping of that same alert. Her phone said the AirTag was near you, then left behind, then near you again. By morning, the city's clatter made everything seem stupidly ordinary. They bought coffees near Placa Rail and walked to the Mossos d'Esquadra station in Ciutat Vella with a strange backpack and Lucy's identical, but now missing one in mind. The desk officer spoke English and listened. He took the receipt and the keycard, tapped details into a form, and told them to wait. People swap bags all the time, he said finally. Tourist rush, distraction theft. Sometimes it's accidental, sometimes not. If you found it at Sants, go to the lost property office there after you file here. He slid over a phone number. And turn off Bluetooth when you walk. Less tracking. What about the AirTag? Hannah asked. If your phone is warning you, it's not yours, he said. It's warning you for a reason. Back at the flat, they pulled the lining out again. Ben used a butter knife to lift seams. Near a stitching line, Ryan felt a rigid bump. He pried at it and came away with a coin-sized disc wrapped in tape. No logo. The battery tab was scratched from being twisted in and out. Ryan dropped it into a glass. There. Dead. What if someone comes looking? Lucy asked. Then we give them the bag in a police station, Ben said. Straight exchange. They decided to move to a hotel with a staffed lobby. Ryan booked one near Placa de Catalunya. Victor didn't answer their message about checking out, so they left the keys on the table, pulled the door, and lugged the strange backpack along with their suitcases to the elevator. On the second-floor landing, the lift doors slid open to reveal a man Lucy recognized by the way he didn't quite look at them. Baseball cap. Smooth jaw. He held the door with his foot and stared past them down the hallway as if nothing were happening. Going down? He asked in careful English. No, we're good, Ben said, and the doors closed on the man's reflection. The cap, the careful posture, the way his eyes dipped to the backpack and away again. On the street, they kept moving. Hannah was sure they were being tailed. Ben wasn't. By the time they reached La Rambla, the crowd had swallowed them. At the hotel, the receptionist took their passports and made copies while the 4 of them arranged themselves like chess pieces facing the glass. People passed. No baseball cap. Let's put the backpack in the room safe, Hannah said. Then go to Sants and to the flea market from the receipt. Maybe Kay. Mercer is looking for it too. At lunchtime at Els Encants, rows of stalls bloomed with tools, records, piles of clothes, second-hand electronics. The air smelled of metal and hot oil. Lucy asked 3 vendors if they recognized the initials or the map. 2 shook their heads. 1 shrugged. On the way out, Ryan spotted a woman from the train, the one with the toppled suitcase. She was at a stand selling phone cases, talking with a man in a pale blue shirt. Should we ask her? Lucy whispered. They approached. The woman's eyes flicked to the backpack and then off, too fast. I don't speak English, she said in English, then turned her shoulder toward the man. He kept his face open and polite, and between one breath and the next, stepped fractionally to block them from the street. Sorry, Ben said, backing off. On the metro back, the glass gave them 4 anxious reflections. Hannah reached for Lucy's hand. I think we need to stop solving this ourselves. At the hotel, a different receptionist slid 4 keycards across the counter and lowered her voice. "Someone came by asking for you," she said. "2 men. They said they were friends." She looked at the backpack. "They asked about that too." "What did you tell them?" Ben asked. "That you hadn't checked in yet," she said. "I didn't like their vibe." She glanced at the revolving door. "If you're worried, there's a Mossos post on the next block. And we can call security." "Do both," Hannah said. "Call now." They rode the lift up with their luggage and the wrong backpack, a literal weight that turned every hallway into a calculation. How far to the stairs, where to run if a door opens, which way the handle turns. They agreed to do 2 things: hide the mute tracker in the minibar and take the backpack back to Saint's lost property. The morning was already hot when they reached the station. A woman behind the counter scanned the bag with a practiced glance and shook her head. "No report," she said. "Leave your number." On their way out, Hannah felt that prickling between the shoulders that means you are not alone. A man in a pale blue shirt, the one from Encants, stood by a vending machine, pretending to study the snacks. "Keep walking," Ben said. "Don't engage." They cut east toward the university, then down to Placa de Catalunya. In the hotel room, Ryan borrowed a seam ripper from reception under the pretense of a stuck jacket. He unpicked the backpack's bottom panel. Inside, nested against stiff cardboard, lay an envelope vacuum-sealed in clear plastic. He slit it open. Out slid a passport with a British crest and a face none of them recognized, plus a stack of crisp hundreds in euros and a USB stick wrapped in gauze. "No way this is an accident," Hannah said. Lucy's breath came short. "Put it all back." Ben took photos. Passport photo page, the concealed pocket. "We take this to the police right now." They called the Sutat Vela station and were told to bring it in. In the lobby elevator, the doors opened and the baseball cap man took 1 step toward them and stopped when he saw the camera in Ben's hand. He smiled, small and cold. "Careful," he said, almost friendly. They didn't wait to pass it. They walked out into the late morning heat and hailed a taxi. The first refused when he saw the backpack and the way Ryan kept looking over his shoulder. The second said yes. As the car pulled into traffic, Lucy turned around. Pale blue shirt was on a scooter now, matching their lane. At the next light, the baseball cap man appeared on the sidewalk 2 cars back, phone to his ear. A third man on a grey scooter rolled up on the right and glanced in. "Driver," Hannah said, trying to keep her voice level. "Police station, fast." The driver nodded and made a hard right into a lane few tourists use. "Relax," the driver said, eyes on the mirror. "City's a chessboard. They can't be on every square." At the station, they handed the bag and its contents to a detective with a shaved head who introduced himself as Sarah. He took statements separately, asked the same questions 5 different ways, and set the passport face up on the table for a long time as if waiting for it to speak. "It's likely you were used as cover," he said. "A mistake at Saint's to transfer possession to you, then pressure later to trade. The cash suggests urgency. The USB suggests leverage." "You think they'll come to the hotel?" Ben said. "They already did," Sarah said. "Do not go back." He gave them a number that would ring direct. 2 plainclothes officers walked them to a different exit, into a cab, and told the driver to take them to a business hotel near the beach. "Room will be under a different name," one of the officers said. "Stay there until we call." "Are we in trouble?" Lucy asked. "You're witnesses," the officer said. "Nothing more if you stop trying to fix this by yourselves." At the new hotel, the lobby was all glass and pale stone. It should have felt safe. Lucy still kept seeing the pale blue shirt in reflections, shop windows, bus panels, the stainless steel water jug by the coffee machine. In the room, Ryan latched the door and slid the chain across. "We hand it over, and somehow I feel worse," he said. "Because now they've lost something that belongs to them. And people get ugly when they lose things," Hannah said. The phone rang. It was Sarah. "We may ask you to help us end this today," he said. "No heroics. You'll be in sight the whole time." Sarah's plan was simple and mean. Use the urge that made the men appear at every door. "We'll message the number that contacted the hotel," he said. "You'll carry a decoy backpack matching the original. You'll walk a short route where we have cameras and plain clothes. If they try to take it by force, we take them. If they talk, you keep them talking." "What if they don't show?" Ryan asked. "They'll show," Sarah said. "They've already lost money." They met in late afternoon under the shade of plane trees near the fountain at Plaça de Catalunya. Hannah wore the decoy bag, heavier than it looked. Ben walked beside her, Lucy and Ryan a few meters behind. Sarah's officers circulated as tourists. Camera straps, sun hats, nothing that read police. Two men arrived within minutes, baseball cap and pale blue shirt. A third man hung back by the metro entrance, talking into a headset. Blue Shirt's smile didn't quite reach his eyes. "You have something of ours," he said, English clean and almost gentle. "We took the contents to the police," Hannah said, as rehearsed. "You want the bag? We can talk in that station over there." She pointed toward a uniformed officer visible by a patrol car. "We can talk here," he said. His gaze ticked over her shoulder, past Ben, to Lucy. "It's easiest for everyone if you give it back and take a little money for your trouble." From somewhere to their left, a scooter revved and then didn't move. Lucy saw Sarah in the mirrored window of a bank across the street, eyes like pins. "Why us?" Ryan asked. "Why not just take it from the beginning?" "Because people notice snatching," Blue Shirt said softly. "They don't notice asking. You picked up the wrong bag at Sants. Now it's the right bag in the wrong hands. Give it." "Police," Hannah said. Blue Shirt took one step closer and made the square feel smaller. He didn't look at the decoy. He looked at Lucy's phone. "You posted a story last night from your balcony. You geotagged the street. Don't do that." Ben raised his camera. "This is recorded." Baseball Cap shifted his stance. The man by the metro lifted his chin. For a second the four friends felt the trap, edges sliding in, exits becoming walls. Then Sarah's voice came low on a nearby radio, and a fat dog lunged after pigeons and tangled itself around Baseball Cap's ankles. The man hopped, cursed, and the tension cracked. Two plainclothes officers were suddenly very close. Another stepped out of the bank. The uniform by the car had already started walking. "Hands," Sarah said in English. "Slowly." Blue Shirt showed his palms and smiled as if this were all a misunderstanding. Baseball Cap didn't smile. He ran. He made it 10 meters before he met another officer. He held still. In a side room of the station, the relief came on like a fever. Sarah thanked them for not freelancing and asked for patience. "The passport is false," he said. "The money is clean. The USB. We will see. The AirTag was to keep the handoff live. You were a delivery route they could steer." Lucy sat with her hands between her knees. "We were the route," she said. "You were the route," Sarah said. "But you stepped off it. Paperwork took hours anyway." When they finally came out into evening, people were already drifting toward dinner. At the hotel, the receptionist handed over new keycards and, with a conspiratorial tilt, a small object wrapped in tissue. "From your room," she said. "Housekeeping found it under the bed." It was chirping. Lucy unwrapped the coin-shaped tracker they'd drowned in the glass. The battery tab was back in. "How?" Ryan began, then stopped. Someone had been in their old room at El Rovol after they left. Hannah walked to the nearest bin and dropped the tracker inside. "No more," she said. They booked the earliest flights home. On the aerobus next morning, Lucy watched shutters go up and last night's bottles swept into new piles. When the airport doors opened and cool air hit her face, she could finally take a full breath. At security, she emptied her pockets and set her phone on the belt face down. The screen lit as it moved. "AirTag found moving with you." She stared at the words, then at the guard, then at Sarah's card in her wallet. It could have been a leftover notification. It could have been the tracker in the bin waking up long enough to say goodbye. It could have been nothing. She picked up her phone, turned off Bluetooth, and didn't look back.